Welcome to Shad's Guitar Show. Whether it's the gear or the players who made the gear famous, join me each episode as we discuss all things guitar.
Well, hey there, what's up everyone? Welcome into another exciting episode of Shad's Guitar Show. As always, super glad that you're joining me for another episode, and I think this one's going to be kind of fun. I've recently been considering if I had in the perfect world and I could have however many number of guitars I needed, not just infinite, but like, let's say I could pick a certain number of guitars that I felt like would adequately cover like every bass that I would need to. How many would that actually be? And I guess that's the question that I have for you as well. How many guitars do you actually need to do what it is you like to do? So I have narrowed mine down to 5 guitars, and I'm going to go through my list, and maybe you'll see some similarities in how you look at guitars that you might need, and maybe there'd be some things that are radically different. But I'm just going to kind of go through it, explain my 5 and why. And I would love it at the end of this thing if you guys would comment and let me know what your 5 are, and kind of give me an idea of where you're coming from with all this. So let's dive into how many guitars do you actually need? So we've probably all had those conversations. How many guitars do you actually need? I mean, what guitars would you have to own to feel like you could literally cover any bass? In theory, any guitar could cover any style. Maybe a Strat isn't going to cover traditional jazz lines as convincingly as an ES-175 with flat wound strings would, but it could be done. The answer is different for all of us, I'm sure, but I'm going to make a list of 5 guitars that I believe would do anything I'd ever need them to. See if you agree with my assessment and leave a comment to share what guitars you'd replace my choices with that would better suit your needs. So here's my list, and not in any particular order. Number 1, a Telecaster. And going a bit further, I'd want a double bound Sunburst with a maple neck and a standard pickup arrangement. Aesthetics aside, the Telecaster could arguably be a guitar that could basically do it all. If we were having an if you could only have one guitar conversation, the Tele would definitely have to be a contender. We've seen Telecasters in almost every style of music out there. Country, blues, rock, jazz, R&B, funk, punk. They've been employed across the spectrum of genres. While I could maybe cover all the styles I personally play with the Telecaster, I feel like there would be sounds I couldn't get, which of course means we need to discuss the rest of my list. Number 2, a Stratocaster. An early 60s style Sunburst with a really dark rosewood fretboard. The classic look, I suppose. I've always loved the 2 and 4 position sounds on a Strat, and those are sounds that just can't be replicated with any other guitar. I mean, there are those Hendrix and Knopfler style vibes that only a Strat will get you. Some would say an HSS Strat would be the most versatile guitar there is, and I might be inclined to agree. But I feel like the humbucker in the bridge takes something away from the classic Strat thing, so it's definitely 3 single coils for me. If I need a humbucker sound, I'll reach for number 3 on my list. And number 3, the Les Paul. More specifically, a beautiful Dirty Lemon Burst flame top with the perfect 59 profile neck and a killer set of boutique SLE 101 PAF clones from Throwback, which are my personal choice. There's certainly no lack of options though when it comes to great PAF style pickups. The Les Paul is the perfect blues rock or classic rock machine. Tons of sustain and great singing mid-range that harkens back to the early heroes. Beano and Cream Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, Mike Bloomfield, Peter Green, Gary Moore, Joe Perry, Joe Bonamassa, Billy Gibbons, Paul Kossoff, Duane Allman, and Dickie Betts. And frankly, the list goes on for miles. No other guitars are more revered or coveted, as are the Les Pauls from the 3 burst years. I can't imagine not having a great Les Paul in my collection. Number 4, the Gretsch Country Gentleman, specifically a double cut model. For me at least, the Gent covers a lot of the bases a 335 might, but adds additional sounds that work better for what I do anyway. It's nice to have the Filtertrons in the Gent as a wonderful bridge between the Fender single coil and the Gibson PAF sound. They have a wonderful, sparkly jangle that nothing else quite does. The Bigsby is a must for me on any Gretsch guitar as well. And if I'm leaning into rockabilly, country rock, Americana, or other rootsy styles, the Gent is guaranteed to bring the sound and the vibe. And heck, if it was good enough for Chet Atkins and George Harrison, it'll do just fine for me. Last but not least would be number 5, a great jazz box. For me, the ES-175 is as classic as it gets. I've always had a deep love for the early soul jazz players. Kenny Burrell, Grant Green, Wes Montgomery, George Benson, and the more trad guys like Herb Ellis, Barney Kessel, and Jim Hall. Now a disclaimer, I'm not a jazz guy. Not because I wouldn't like to be, but because it's just a language that I don't speak very well. I guess you could say I venture into jazz by way of the blues, but I'm always threatening to become a decent jazz guitar player. So for the faux stuff I do now, and potentially more legit stuff that may come, I'll keep the ES-175 strung up with a set of flat wound strings, and ready for when I finally get around to getting serious. So this list represents my current tastes in music, and the things that I'm writing and playing, and could definitely be subject to change. It's pretty much always in flux, but this 5 guitar list would likely always stay mostly intact, with an occasional substitute here or there. I've dabbled in pretty much every style there is at some point, but for the styles I tend to gravitate to consistently, these 5 would do everything I could ever need, and with classic style. So what are your 5? Do we share any in common? Make sure to comment and let me know. And if you've enjoyed this episode, share it with a guitar playing friend. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the show on YouTube and Instagram. There's some great content there to check out as well. And as always, if you keep listening, I'll keep the conversation going about all things guitar.